Hello and welcome to Friday Rules. This time we will have a closer look at the WMI Event Alert Rule. Our goal is to monitor just a group of servers, raise an alert if a local group is created on those servers, so not an Active Directory group, a local server group on that specific server. And then the alert which is being raised should contain the target server name on which this group is being created, the name of the group, and the group SID. The heart of our rule is the WMI notification query. A WMI notification query catches WMI events that are created if something happens. Let's say we want to catch events if something is created. Then we need to pull the instance creation event class. We use this class to monitor resources that have a WMI class, for example, a local group has the win32 underscore group class, and each time an instance of any such class is created, modified, or deleted, then an event is generated. You can think of it's like catching SNMP traps, where this query is basically the trap receiver. So if you look closer at the WMI query, it starts with a select star. It's the same as in a SQL query. It will return all properties, and the event class we are monitoring is the instance creation event class. And if there are any target instances created from a type win32 underscore group, then an event is generated. The polling interval for polling the events, it's 60 seconds. This is specified in the within clause, and it's good practice to have the same polling interval for the WMI query as also for the rule itself in SCOM, but we will see that later on if we run through the wizard. So if you need more details about all this WMI notification query or on the WMI basics, then there is a good resource on the internet. It's few years old, but still valid as far as I know. And you can see the URL at the bottom. If we want to test the WMI notification query, I recommend using the WMI Test tool, which is built in any Windows operating system. To run this tool, go to the run command, enter WMI Test, click OK, and then a GUI will open. Hit connect and enter the namespace you want to connect. In our case, it's the root /sim version 2 namespace that you probably will use for almost all your queries. Hit connect, and then the rest of the buttons get active. Hit notification query, and enter the query. And you see here, it's the same as we had on the slide, except I changed it to 30 seconds, the poll interval, so we don't have to wait so long. Click apply, and this will create a subscription which is watching for instance creation events. So you can see here the operation is in progress, and to test it we will create manually a new group, call it test, hit enter, and return back to the tool. Let's close this window and wait a few moments. And here you see an event is triggered. Select this event, click twice, and then you see here lots of information, and then we scroll down on this window and go down to the target instance property. This property actually represents our group, and hit edit property, and then we go to the view embedded object, and down here you will find all the properties you then will use later on in the rule. So if you scroll down, here is the name of the group, and down here the SID. And if you need any other properties, then we'll find them here. Okay, so next we are going to create actually the rule. I'm connected to my lab environment, and the first thing we need to do is create an empty management pack. Click Administration, go to Management Packs, right click and select Create Management Pack. We call it Friday.rules, and the description is MPE for storing Friday rules. Hit next and create. Then because we are targeting only few servers, we are going to create a group. Go to authoring. Right click groups, create a new group. Then give it a name like Friday.group. Select management pack, and this time we are selecting our Friday rules management pack. And hit next. And here we can add explicit group members, and this is what we are going to do. Let's select our target class, it's Windows Computer, and we filter it by part of name CM01. Hit search, here it is, add, and then we use another one, our SCOM server OM01, click add, click OK, and maybe add another one. Windows Computer, and our management server. Click add, click OK. Then next, we are not creating a dynamic group, so just click next, and we don't have any subgroups, or we also do not exclude any members. Hit create. Click look for, if we type Friday, right click, view group members, then we should see those 3 Windows computers. Perfect. That's part 1. Now we are going to create the rule. Go to rules, create a new rule, go to alert generating rules, and then we select WMI Event Alert. Select the management pack, Friday rules. Hit next, and the rule name will be, for example, Friday WMI Event Rule. Rule will alert on any new local server group. Makes sense. Rule category alert, we leave it. Then the target, we will choose Windows Server Operating System. Select the Windows Server Operating System class, click OK. And here we disable the rule because we are going to enable it for the group. Hit next. Specify the WMI namespace. We need the root sim version 2 namespace. This is probably the most interesting namespace in WMI. That's the place where you find all those Win32 underscore operating system, logical disk, and all those kind of classes to get information about the operating system and so on. The WMI notification query we need is, as I explained in the beginning, it's the same here. It will create the WMI notification or subscription basically, and will listen for events. If there is a Win32 underscore group instance created, then it will create an event. And we will pick up this event, set the poll interval for the rule itself to the same as you have in the query. For example, if you set it to 120 seconds up here, set it also down here to 120 seconds. That's how it is recommended by Microsoft. Don't go too low because it will put unnecessary load on your servers. And if you set the number too high, you might miss some events. So if you add it like this, hit next. The alert name will be Friday WMI Event Rule. That's okay for me. And previously I deleted here the description. That's why you don't see anything in here. I played around with it and I figured out that to get all this information we need to select the event data, data item collection, and then property. And although you find here, you should add here an integer. You see here you must replace any int and string. Placing with appropriate integer and string values. You can add here also target instance, and the property of this target instance will be name. That's the group name we are catching up. That's name. Let's see if we have any misspelling here. We need to put it like this. Okay, that will be the group name. And then we can copy this because we also want to have the SID of this group, of this local group, although it doesn't make much sense. It's just to show you an example how to get all the properties. we can use the SID here. That's wrong here. Delete this here. Okay. And we also would like to know which is the target server where this rule is, or where the group is created. So we choose this principal name up here. So I cut this out here, and let's add some more words so it makes sense on the server. Then the name of the server, a new group, and then let's use this value here with the SID, and we add this value here, has been created. Please check. Okay, and then we hit create. So as one of the last steps, we need to enable the rule. As you remember, I disabled the rule at the beginning. So click the rule and select override the rule for a group, and go to Friday. Here is our group. Select that group and set the override value, override enabled, to true, and hit apply. So this will enable our group only for those servers within that group. Okay, so basically that's it. Our rule should be active. Let's switch to monitoring, active alerts, and then I will open just the PowerShell window, and then we are creating a local group, local group, and then we will add, and we name it my group, group on MGM. That's our management server, just for demonstrating how the rule works, and then hit enter. And if you remember, our poll interval is 60 seconds, so I will stop the recording right now and return when the alert appears. So I'm back, and here our alert appeared, and the alert description, there you see what happened. And here's the group name, my group on MGM, and the SID. So this works fine so far on this local MGM server. Now let's create, just to demonstrate on a remote server, another group, and we will use PowerShell for that. We will connect to the CM01 server. If you remember, it is also in that specific group. Then we execute also this command. We are just connected to that server, as you can see here in those square brackets. I'm remotely on that server, and we'll execute also net local group. Net local group is an old command. It's not PowerShell, but you can execute those old commands in PowerShell. So net local group add my group on CM01, then hit enter. And this should of course also create another alert. I will pause the video again and return if the alert appears. I'm back now, the alert appeared, and as you can see the alert description is almost the same as before. Here the server name changed, it's CM01 as expected, and the group name it's also different, and the SID of course. So that's basically it is. I would like to thank you for watching and see you next time.